Hey everyone, it's Tony George. We're going to talk about 3 or 4 games, and then we're going to talk about the Tennessee Alabama game. And I'm just going to have just like me and you sitting at the sports bar having a cocktail, just blowing steam about games we like this weekend. I'll just tell you the ones I passed on. Then we'll talk about one of the big ones in the SEC this weekend, and that is Tennessee Alabama. Um, for the official free play. Also, at the end of this video, I'll tell you what's going on over at the website. I'm also going to tell you, since I got a captive audience here, a lot of views, what we're doing in the NBA this year, because it's going to be totally different and maybe have 35 or 40 picks all year. I'll tell you what we're going to do. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. But we'll get the freebies out of the way first. As always, click the subscribe button, thumbs up. Be sure and get over to Docs. Take advantage of the free $60 in the link in the description below. Be a good weekend. Speaking of the SEC, we have our SEC game of the month on a 3-pack on Saturday. I kept the volume very low. We hit our 6-unit top play last week by 24 points over the spread on North Texas. This week we're going with an SEC game of the month. Come on. All right, then we'll tell you what's going on the NFL on Sunday. We're red hot there. And all kinds of good things going on this weekend, including NASCAR at Homestead, Miami. All right, there's some games that I passed on that I had circled. I looked at all of them pretty deeply, but I wanted to keep it to a 3-play card this week. I passed on Coastal Carolina against Arkansas State minus the 10.5. Thought about the first half lines around 6. You're talking about a defense there in Arkansas State that allows 459 yards a game. And by the way, McCall and company, how long has he been playing quarterback Coastal Carolina? 30 years now? Wow. Anyway, they put up 449 yards a game. I think that Arkansas State ain't going to trade punches with them. Another game that I passed on, that I took a deep dive on, was Illinois catching 2.5 at home against Wisconsin. Wisconsin got beat by 9 points at home last week against a team that threw the ball for 37 yards in a college football game. Now, unless it's Air Force or Navy or Army that run the wishbone 99.9% of the time and never throw the ball, 37 yards. I was terrible. The offense is just archaic. And Wisconsin lost their quarterback. And Illinois coming off a very impressive win against Maryland, who's a very good football team. Interesting. Live home dog. Sprinkle the money line. Whatever you want to do. Another game we talked about on Doc's Gridiron 6-pack, which I almost put up as a premium play. And by the way, if you don't tune in to Doc's Gridiron 6-pack, that show is 6 free picks on there. We're 62% against spread on the year. But one game that Griff talked about on that show, Missouri, South Carolina over 59.5. I think that's right. I think both these teams are going to be in the 30s. Missouri's got a good football team. They're in the conversation in the SEC, whether you like it or not. I lived in Kansas City, and I'm a Husker, so I took nothing but abuse from Missouri fans for numerous years, so I'm not a huge Missouri Tiger fan, Mizzou. But arguably, they should be unbeaten. They should have never let LSU beat them at home. And that score is deceiving because they gave up pick 6 with 10 seconds left or something that went 90 yards or whatever. But at the end of the day here, both these quarterbacks, Rattler and, I'm just telling you, Missouri's got good football. This going to be a high-scoring game. Because South Carolina's having a bad year. They're going to go for broke in that one. And Missouri gives up chunks of yards to good throwing quarterbacks. One other one I liked. I can't get this line. I got a 9-point power rating difference between South Florida and UConn. And spread's 1.5. South Florida on the road. One of the fastest paced offenses in college football. I don't know how UConn's going to keep up with them. I don't get it. That something's fishy about that line. Bear in mind, South Florida, I mean, was 3-3 tie at halftime with Alabama and lost 17-3. Alabama. I mean, you know, I don't know who UConn played in the Power 5 conference, but I guarantee you they didn't stay within 14 points to anybody. You know, but I'd lean South Florida. All right, let's get to this Tennessee-Alabama game. And what's not to like about this game? It's going to be a great football game. The spread should not be 8.5. The total should be around 47.5. In an SEC game, that's a low total, unless Georgia's involved. You take a look at this. I know Alabama, Nick Saban, all the domination. They're not the best team in the SEC. They're probably not even close. Their most impressive victory this year, to me, was over Ole Miss, where Lane Kiffin just psychs himself and his team out every time he plays Alabama. You know, that game should have been a lot closer. Alabama barely beat Arkansas, a 2-win team last week. I mean, they should have lost the game. Did you watch it? They were outplayed in almost every phase of that game. Week before, 6-point win over A&M. Somebody that Tennessee beat by 3. So that gives you an indication of a common opponent. You take a look at this game, you know, Alabama and running back university, wide receiver university, quarterback university. They got a bad quarterback this year. That quarterback's not any good. I'm not saying, because I know we got a lot of Alabama backers here and SEC backers. They're going to get pissed off every time you say something bad about their team. But hey, Milroe ain't it. Worst quarterback they've had there in 15 years. Argue with me. No, Tennessee's quarterback's not adjusting the system very well either. It's definitely not a Hendon Hooker. But when you look at offenses, Tennessee's got the 32nd ranked offense in the country in yards per game. Alabama 87th. When's the last time you saw that? Alabama, that out of 133 teams, they're 87th in offensive yard production. Now you take a look at the real stat in this game. 17th ranked defense in yards allowed, Tennessee, 15th in Bama. It's going to be a lower scoring game, brings points into play. Who has more capability for big plays in this game? Tennessee. You know, Tennessee scores 17, 20 points in this game. It's an easy cover. Give me the Vols plus the 8.5. Over at the website, the NBA starts up on Tuesday. This year in the NBA, I'm only putting out 90% of my picks are going to be top picks, 6 units and higher only. Which means I'll put out about 35 or 40 picks maybe during the season. Maybe. I'm not going to do a sport, although it's daily and everybody wants plays, everybody wants to be an action junkie. I can't handicap a sport when I don't know who's playing. And they haven't changed Adam Silver came out and going to find teams for resting players out of nowhere. The fine's not significant enough for anybody to give a rat's ass about. The NBA rests players out of nowhere for no apparent reason. Until I know who is playing and, you know, who's going to show up, I'm not putting out picks. And if I do a daily pick every now and then to add in some volume, there'll be 2 units max. You know, we did this in the latter half of the Major League Baseball season as well. You know, and this is what I'm going to do in the NBA. There's certain areas you handicap, the scheduling spots, this, that, and the other, that you can find some value. Those are the only picks I'm putting out. The product is terrible. It's from a guy that sells picks for a living. The more I put up, the more I sell, the more, I make selling picks. But I'm not going to be betting those games, so I put them out. So why would I put them out? You know, I mean, I value my customers' bankrolls. I want you to win. I want to be able to provide you with that. Until I have winning information, I'm not putting out picks. Over at the website, 3-pack in college football, 6-unit top play. We got Major League Baseball playoffs going on. I don't know what the story is because this is Friday for the weekend. NASCAR is on a plus $5,210 run since June 4th for a $100 player. Don't like NASCAR, fast left-hand turns, think it's boring, don't watch it. You don't have to watch it, just bet it. Okay? Homestead, Miami this weekend. NFL on a $3,030 run for a $100 player over the last 3 weeks. 7-unit totals play of the month on a 4-pack on Sunday. Get over to Doc's.